Yep.
Hey,
Hey,
hey. So we are back with the Brian and Kristen podcast. I'm Brian,
and I'm Kristen.
and we
And this is, I was
go
going to say,
ahead.
this is the first time we've done it on Zoom, but I guess the first time it's only the second episode. So,
Yeah, and we're gonna have to figure out other ways because we're doing Zoom for now, but we want to find out other ways to do it because we're hardly ever together, right? Because I'm usually in Ohio, and or who knows where, and Kristen's usually in Florida. So I won't be back to Florida until July, so that will be the next time. So if anybody has any ideas other than Zoom on how you can make a cool podcast together with somebody who's not in the room with you, please let us know because as we're getting this going, we're trying to just figure it out as we go. And I think at least me and probably you too, Kristen, could both use a little technical hand from time to time, some
yeah, that's
advice.
the worst part of all this stuff, in my opinion, is the tech piece.
Yeah, but it's amazing how far technology has come from, even because I remember when podcasts first came out, I mean, looking back, I could punch myself because I was like kind of skeptical and comics were getting into it. And I'm always kind of like one of the guys who later on gets into something, because I'm always fighting stuff because I don't like things changing. I like, right?
So then you miss the
I missed the boat.
opportunity.
Yeah, the opportunity. And but now we're doing it now, and actually I'm happy because this is a great thing because we're brother and sister, if you didn't know, for the first episode. And what have you been up to this week, Kristen?
Actually, I haven't told you this, but I had somebody reach out to me to possibly be on a game show, and I need a partner. So I was going to see if you might be interested. And we haven't been totally picked yet, but they've submitted it. The host is definitely someone that people will know, and it's on the Game Show Network.
Let's do it.
So, and an opportunity to win $10,000.
Oh, good, good.
So hopefully we get picked. I was surprised they reached out and were like, "Hey, are you still interested?" And I'm like, "Yep, interested." So we'd have to fly to LA to do that, but it's the beginning of July for the filming.
Oh, let's do it. Let's do it, man. That'd give me a reason
Yeah.
to go back. I haven't been to LA for since 2020, so 3 years. Uh,
Oh
that
yeah.
that would be cool to be able to go back to do that. It's been yeah, let's do it. Put me in, sign me up.
Yeah.
We'll do good.
Yeah, we'll see what we have to do. And then what else? Oh, I had a group mediumship reading. That was pretty cool. So I actually did it in person here in St. Pete. And they did FaceTime with some people in Hawaii. So the people in Hawaii were on FaceTime while I did the group reading here in St. Pete. So that was pretty
Oh,
cool.
see, there's technology again. That's
Exactly.
another benefit there. So I guess it can go either way, which is awesome. Well, I definitely want to try out for this game show. And I'm getting ready tonight to go to my 25th year class reunion. And you know, I'm
Wait, I met a kid the other day, and he was born in 1998.
oh, the year I graduated.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, oh my God. I feel like I was one of those people that's now like, oh, don't even tell me what year you were born, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's tough. He wonder what day he was born. I
I don't know.
wonder if it was the biggest day of my life when I made it to the state tournament.
Oh, I thought when you graduated high school was the biggest day of your life.
That was good, but I mean, that wasn't as memorable as the state tournament. I mean, I was glad to get out of school, but um, yeah, the graduation wasn't nearly as exciting as that tournament was. You were there, right?
Yeah.
Mom was dang near crying.
Oh, yeah. It was like, yeah, that's right. I kind of forgot about it. I
Yeah,
think I
it was
had
as
to have been there, I'm sure.
yeah, you were there. You were there. I think you're even helping maybe dad film it or something. And
Oh, likely.
yeah. So yeah, that was a good time. So now last week we were asking people, and we want to ask them again this week and every week. Hey, if you have any questions for us, any question at all, send in and we will answer your question. And we have a great question actually from our first episode. And we got this from our YouTube page. and it is from Six Tool Baseball. Six Tool Baseball. That's a very interesting name for your parents to name you. But actually, I know Six Tool watches a lot of my videos, and we have some good back and forths. And the question is, what are the top 5 states to live in for 2024? With any putting at the end, given all that's going on. So what are the top 5 states to live in for 2024, given all that's going on? Kristen, you start on this question.
I mean, I don't know if he's like wanting me to predict the future. In that case, I'm going to say definitely not Florida. We do not need anybody else in Florida.
Yeah. Florida's getting
if anybody was thinking Florida, I would say not. In 2024, everybody must move out of Florida. We need the road space back. Let's see. I don't know. I mean, I feel like Montana. That seems kind of boring. Let's see. 2024. What other places? I don't know. I feel like I would kind of pick a place with like not a lot of big city stuff going on. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not one to predict the future here, but other states, I feel like North Carolina might be a good place.
Yeah.
Water, decent city. Gosh, well, any place by the beach or the ocean is a place that I would say. So,
now, see, I would almost agree because I lived in California for 20 years, but I would have to take that one off of the places to live. And our mom told me not to say anything political on the podcast because
we're trying to appeal to the masses here.
Yeah, we're trying to appeal to the masses, and I've gotten myself some strikes and kicked off of things temporarily and all kinds of stuff for my views. So, but I would say that I mean, this ain't political. This is personal. I just would not want to live where Gavin Newsom's in control of here. Okay, hopefully that's not. I mean, that's just personal. Okay, that guy's a jerk. Okay. I wouldn't want to live anywhere where the government is telling you what to do, but the people in charge aren't following their own rules. That is why the Constitution was written. Because I thought about this, I think this is a great question because the world has really changed a lot over the last several years. And I think one of the most important things people need for survival is seeds, right? Because if you have a seed, that's what all life starts from. So you need a place where you can plant your seeds, right? So you wouldn't want to live in Michigan either, because in 2020, the governor of Michigan made it illegal for people to buy seeds. Not political, just fact. So but yeah, the pandemic was going on. People had to go to the grocery, but she wouldn't let people buy seeds. Now, if you have seeds, you don't need to go to the grocery. When I had those tomatoes last year, okay, I didn't get that many off of the plant, but I had enough for 2 less trips to the grocery, So I would say for me, the top 5 places are Ohio, because that's where I'm from. That's where I live. I'm not going to tell you the town I live because we have 2,000 people already, and we don't need any more. Okay, we don't need. It's a small, quiet. It's a small.
We don't need any more stoplights. They just put in new stoplights. No more.
We got 3 stoplights. That's plenty. It's a small, quiet, and shy town. It likes to stay small, quiet, and shy. We don't need. We have the yard sale weekend this weekend where everybody has yard sales, and so the population is a little bustling this week.
And that class reunion. I mean, my gosh, that's a lot of activity for one day.
Yeah. Yard sales and a class reunion. So I would say that here, to me, I love my town. So this is the number 1 place. I'm biased. I grew up here, but Ohio has a lot to offer, as well as places like Iowa, Nebraska. These boring places are where you can crop and you can self-sustain, right? Because in all due respect to St. Pete, a bigger city or places like that, and St. Pete's a big city, but not all that big, but first one to the grocery store wins.
That's true.
If everything goes crazy, luckily you live right across the street from a grocery store.
That's right. I can get down. I just have to get down the elevator faster than the other people.
Yeah. So I'm for the Midwest. I think Ohio, even Kentucky, Michigan people have lost their mind right now. I'm ready to build a wall between Ohio and Michigan, okay, to keep them out. But so my top five would be Ohio, number one, because I'm from here. Now, my favorite place to go is Florida. I love Florida. Now, I know you want to keep people out. Now, that being said, if the world got crazy, I would not want to live in Florida.
No, I would agree.
So
There's a lot that could happen.
So if you're going for, let's say you're going for the wilderness aspect, the survival aspect, where would be the best place to survive if the world went even more crazy than it is now? I would keep it in the Midwest. I would say places like Ohio, Illinois. Well, I would probably skip actually Illinois unless you would be in like these smaller towns, but Ohio,
Right.
Iowa, um, uh,
It should be Ohio, Iowa, and Idaho because people already are so confused on those
totally.
three. They're like, "Oh,
Ohio,
you live in Iowa?"
yeah. There's a
Ohio, but yeah.
there's that funny T-shirt. It's the state. It's shaped as Ohio, and it says and then in the middle of the state it says Iowa, the potato state.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, because people are so confused with those three.
Yeah, because Ohio is just its own thing, and then Iowa has corn, but Idaho is the potato. But they always get those three. But I would also say Montana because you're away from things. Once again, you got the survival that you can do. Wyoming, and then so I
What
was
about like North Dakota or South Dakota?
North
But
Dakota,
nobody's there.
South Dakota, those type of places is where I would say you could, because you can also buy stuff for cheaper, right? I mean, what you can get out here, compared to what you can get in like, California, even Florida or places like that, you can have space. And I think that the cities are fun. I mean, I enjoy going to New York, but every time I'm there, I'm like, I hope nothing happens, crazy because you're stuck and then there's so many people. And so for me anymore, I would rather see deer out and about than people walking out and about, you know. But I would say any of these kind of any of the places that people don't really want to live, but you got the space and stuff. So I would say Ohio, Iowa, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, those type of places. Now, if it's for fun, you go to Florida. North Carolina is nice. By the Smoky Mountains would be a great place to live. I've always liked Phoenix, Arizona as a city. Once again, if things got crazy, wouldn't want to live there, but as going out and having fun and stuff. Texas is if you're out, but see, Texas, you got to pick the right spots. I like Dallas would probably be a nice place to live, but once again, you're in the city. So, but I think where I'm at for me is the best spot in 2024, and for
So everybody will be moving to a small town in Ohio who's listening.
yeah, well, yeah, a small town anywhere you can pick Indiana instead, something like that,
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that that to me is if the world got, and that question was kind of, I think, phrased in that way as of, saying that. So that's what I think. I think the small town life, I think rural America is actually doing very well right now. Because all these little towns I go to, people are out and they're always trying to rebuild their little place. And the logic for the most part is, it's tough because most of the people have common sense logic, but you got a problem of there's always a few people out there who have these crazy thoughts and stuff. And the people in small towns are so polite that they let them get away with it. Do you see what you know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, because the small town people are pretty polite. They don't want to be mean, a lot of times. There are some mean people in the small towns, but I don't know if that makes sense, but I just think that small town people basically have pretty common sense logic where there'll be a few people with some crazy ideas to sneak in, but in the cities, there's just a lot of crazy stuff that doesn't even make sense what they are trying to pass off as like true, and you're like, that's not really true. Like, you know, but yeah, I prefer not to see I prefer not to have to see a lot of homeless people. You know, I want there not to be homeless people, but I like living in a place where if there is a homeless people, they're going to be taken care of. You don't see homeless people in our area. There are a few in Pickwick, Troy, but people take care of those guys. You know the 5 people who are homeless, right?
Well, it's not good weather to be homeless in either.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
And panhandling on the side of a farm, like that's not sustainable. Like
not
unless they're able to
sustainable.
like yeah.
And around here, if you have a sign that said we'll work for food, they will take you at that. You have to work for the food.
Exactly. They're not giving you $1. They're gonna
Yeah.
make you work for
They're
sure.
like, okay, you're gonna pick up eggs from these chickens or whatever. So
Yeah.
um, so that's kind of where I think I would go if right now the top 5 places I would say rural Midwest America, with also adding in like Montana and Wyoming, the Dakotas. Although the Dakotas can get kind of cold, but those places are all places you could survive if something went crazy, and if something went crazy and you couldn't be, because I don't think you want to be in the city if something really goes awry. You know, if aliens come, I think the and the craziness of the city is like I said, first one of the grocery wins. But you want to have a place where the people around you can sustain without the grocery. You know,
Yeah.
so what are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, I guess this basil plant that I have is not that's about as sustainable thing as I've got here. So
Yeah.
that's about all I'll be growing here. Um, but I wouldn't go to any place like out west, like Arizona. I'm not a fan of the desert, so that's my own preference. But
I guess it depends, because if the world stays as it is, then you could, I mean, it's hot. I guess I'm biased to Phoenix because I always had good comedy shows there. I always found that people, like, for some reason, were more accepting towards my style or something. So I always liked it there. But yeah, I think that the I think the middle of the country, the flyover states, is where you would want to, now
yeah,
if the world is cool and fun and groovy, then man, all the places are good. You go down to Florida or all these other places. I guess places in the South would be okay, but it gets so hot down there. I don't know. I don't think I could see myself in Alabama or anywhere like that.
oh yeah, I have no desire to go there.
Yeah. But
Uh,
even though we tease Kentucky, I think Kentucky's a pretty place.
yeah, Kentucky's nice.
Yeah,
Parts of it.
we always tease it, but I think that's a place that you could survive. So
I wonder if baseball six here got more confused. I don't whatever his name was in baseball six or whatever.
yeah, yeah, we skewed.
He's
I
like, well,
guess
now I really don't know what to do. I mean,
yeah, I
I'm more
guess I didn't
confused than when
really
I got on here.
I guess I didn't really narrow it down too much, other than saying don't go to California or Michigan. Okay, so but
You got 48 other places to choose from.
but I did love California up until it got a little bit too strict for my being. But the weather
Yeah.
perfect. And a lot of the people there, I had a lot of nice friends there. So it's like you can go anywhere and find both, right? You can be in the biggest city and find the nicest people and craziest, and even in a small town that I love, you can still find some real knuckleheads. So
For sure.
and that's what they're going to be saying about me at the 25-year class reunion.
Yeah,
Oh, he's
exactly. Oh,
still
there
a
comes the
knucklehead.
knuckle.
Wait till
Yeah,
I
that'll
drop
be
some stink
interesting.
bombs
That
on
yeah,
them.
next week we'll that's funny. I was just telling somebody that story about the stink bombs. Yeah, the
So, yeah,
orchestrated the stink bomb
yeah. So
delivery.
I guess that's a story we could go to before we close out today. Is the famous stink bomb drop of I don't know, 1997 or 98 or whatever. And
Yeah.
I was in a science class, and I would always drop stink bombs. There's this place called Crazy Martin's, and they had stink bombs, and I would buy stink bombs and drop them. And then I got in trouble. I was in chorus. I had detention for chorus class in the morning, right? But I had set up the stink bomb drop, and basically you could get like 3 stink bombs for $1 or whatever. And I bought all these stink bombs at Crazy Martin's. And then I had my truck, my red truck that I was driving to school.
Mhm.
And I had one of my friends, he was selling the stink bombs out of the truck to the kids. So kids come up with $1, and we sold all these stink bombs. And then in between third and fourth period, everybody drops the stink bombs, right? Boom, boom, boom. And then everybody knew I was behind it, right? And the principal was upset. He goes, "I know you were selling stink bombs outside of your truck before school." I said, "No, I wasn't." "I know, we got witnesses." I said, "No, I wasn't." I said, "You can ask Mrs. McIntosh. I was serving detention." So I had an
That's the
alibi.
best type of criminal, when you got somebody else, like, you just set it up and then there you've got other people executing. You're like, well.
It was like everybody executing it because they knew they're coming for me, and a principal was just furious, and the teachers actually went outside. The stink was so bad, and left the kids inside to smell the stink bombs.
And everyone was like, Kristen, your brother was behind it. I'm like, I know nothing of the sort. Like, I mean, I had caught wind of it, but I had no proof of any of it.
Yeah. I did good. I knew not to actually literally step. You had to throw them down hard so they would break, and you don't want to step on them because then you got the smell on your shoe. And it was a big day. It was well orchestrated. My friend did a great job of selling the stink bombs to the kids before school while I was sitting in detention. Morning detention. He's out there in the truck.
It's so funny. Yeah, ask Mrs. McIntosh. I was in class. I was in detention.
I was in detention. The principal was so upset. He's threatening all the kids to tell on me and this and that, but what could they do? We won. The kids won that day. We beat the establishment.
That was funny.
So now I'm going back today, and I'm sure that's going to be 25 years later. That's still going to be probably one of the biggest memories of
The highlights. Class of 1998.
Yeah, it was good times. And now somebody born in 1998 is 25 years old.
Yeah, I know. It's hard to believe.
Yeah, hard to believe. So, anything to wrap us up on here?
I'm headed to London on next Friday. So I'll be headed to London for I think 10 days to take a mediumship class there. So yeah, if anyone's ever interested in holding a group mediumship, I guess, event, you can also email us as well. And speaking of emailing us, so for those of you who have a question that you want us to ramble on about and not give you an actual answer, feel free to email us or leave a note in the comments, or email us at Brian and Kristen, the number 1 at gmail.com.
Yeah, and I'm gonna answer it. Ohio number 1, Iowa number 2, Idaho number 3, Wyoming, and Montana. Those are my 5 safest picks for 2024. You'll be the safest in those states. They're not necessarily the most fun states. Well, Montana is probably the most beautiful, but those are the safest. So I would say Ohio, Iowa, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming.
Okay, I think those sound reasonable.
Yeah. So I guess that's it. I'll be headed to Austin tomorrow, which is Sunday, June 4th, and I'll be there for like 9 or 10 days, and then be back in Ohio for a little brief time, and then be back in Florida. And I'll post up some up and coming shows on the internet, what's coming up, which is a lot of them coming up. So we're doing good, and hopefully we'll be going to LA to do a
game show.
Okay.
We'll have to promote the podcast on the game show.
I don't know about that, but
hey, that's because what we do.
If we win $10,000, we'll definitely upgrade our podcast studio.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. I guess that we'll do the next one then, right?
Yep, we'll see you the next time.
See you on the next one.